Channel U, the Ill Out Show. We have caught up with the main men, the bosses today. Femi Oyeniran, the boss men. Femi Oyeniran, Nicky Slimting. What's going on, guys?
What's good, my bro?
Legends.
Against all odds. I mean, it's exciting, man. We're seeing the billboards all over London, all over the UK. Amazing. We're showing the movie today. Tell us about the film, why you guys decided to make this movie.
I just think it was time for us to do a movie like this, you know, coming from the scene, being a part of the scene in the early days, me being a DJ, promoter, being active in the early days of building the grime scene, you know, putting out records and putting on events and raves and just being a part of that whole culture, growing up in it. I just felt that me being a filmmaker now, me and Femi being filmmakers, that somebody had to put it on the screen, because there's been documentaries, there's been books, but nobody's ever put it on the screen and kind of documented the early days and put it into like a movie. So we sat down and was like, you know, after The Intent, the success of The Intent 2 was like, you know what, we need to do something about music, not so street, not so like gangsterfied. We need to do something about the rise of Black British music, which was grime.
People will assume that it's going to be a street movie.
I mean, people can assume what they want, right? But you have to watch the film and then make your decision after that. But actually, like, it's, you know, it is a street movie, but it's a different type of street movie. It's about growing up on, you know, in a sort of working class setting, but, you know, trying to pursue a dream in music, which is, in a way, it's kind of a common story. If you're from the ends, you know someone that wanted to be a rapper or wanted to be an MC back in the day, or even still now, I'm sure, like, a lot of kids want to rap or MC or do sports and so on. So it's a common dream growing up, you know, in the ends.
So you guys are inspiring a lot of young people at the moment, do you know what I mean? This isn't your first outing as like producer, directors and stuff, but so we're seeing kind of like the back end of it now, do you know what I mean? The celebration, but what's it like being a young producer, director in the UK at the moment?
It's difficult, man. There's so many hurdles to jump over. It's not easy. You know, the stories we're trying to tell, people don't really want to hear them, you know. There's not many black directors like myself in the UK, like me and Femi, who's getting the push, who's getting the backative. That's why it was so amazing to partner up with Motown Records, who believed in our vision. When we sat down with them, they understood what we was trying to do. They understand where we were trying to go. And it's good to have somebody who wants to amplify what you're doing, you know? And like he said, the billboards and the big adverts, you know, and the big trailers and stuff, you know, giving us that opportunity to show our skills and our talent. And as you said before, we've had films before, and every film actually seems like a new obstacle we're overcoming, even when we've got the premieres and we're in the cinema. Like, if people understand how hard it is for us to get our films in the cinema and how hard it is for us to get our films on Netflix or the Amazon, it's something that we face every day, you know. Just because we made a few films before doesn't mean this one is going to... People come up to me, oh, is it on Netflix? Is it on Netflix? I wish it was as easy as that.
What would you say, like, you inspire young people, what would you say is the best way for them to get their content out there as producer, director? What would you say?
I think for me, it's like, you know, just making your content. And like, you know, there are, I can't think of there are lots. I was going to say a plethora, but literally, like, there are lots.
Tell me the English
yeah, no,
today,
but there's so many platforms now available. There's so many platforms now of that people can get out their content on. If you're a young filmmaker, I just say make it and get it out there. If you find your audience where they are, right? If your audience are on your YouTube, put it there. If your audience are on Instagram, put it on IGTV. If you like, you know, don't try to pigeonhole yourself. For me, people are like, oh yeah, I don't have loads of views on YouTube, so that means I'm not a success. But then you've got loads of views on Instagram. It's the same thing, right? It's audiences are watching it, and it's quantifiable, so you can measure who's watched it and who's not. So for me, I would say just get it out there, find your audience where they are.
So I think we're all pretty much self-taught in what we do here, which is great, and I think it's more of it's an inspiration for the young audience watching. And Nicky, I think you're like, although you're self-taught, you're like very much a galvanizer. I can see you've done it from your DJing days, promotion, do you know what I mean? What you're doing now with production, film production and stuff. But like I said, we see the benefits and the outcome, the positive outcome. But what are some of the don'ts, do not do's for the young generation coming up in this thing? What would you say is a definitely don't do in this process?
Don't sell yourself out to trends, you know. Always be yourself, because believe in your source, they say, innit? Believe in what you're doing, you know. Sometimes so much is happening and you can think, I need to do this. Or somebody comes out, they make a record or they make a movie and you feel like, I need to do this. Like, and then you start losing your way, you're following other people. Follow your own heart, follow your own destiny, kind of be true to yourself, you know, because I'm only just getting my just now, I think. Like, I'm only kind of feeling like I'm getting somewhere now, and I've been in the game for over 10 years, like 15 years in the game, and I've been a DJ, I've been a promoter, you know, I've produced music, and I've got into filmmaking, and I feel like only now I'm kind of getting the recognition, and that's taken me 15 years to get there. So nothing happens overnight, and just keep your head forward, you know, don't look left, don't look right, I would say, and just believe in what you're doing, because you're easily influenced by other people's success. Because what's meant for somebody else doesn't mean it's for you. And I would just say, be humble.
I mean, you're saying that, you're just getting it now, but you had a massive Channel U moment, the link up.
Yeah.
Slimting recording, yeah, Slimting brings to you on the keys, the big link up. Oh, it's the best of the best of the best. And it's going down, I'm in the booth every day. You can't spray how we spray. We'll make it mainstream one day. I'm trying to shot units like Cartier. I'm trying to get a model to kill my arm today. I've been in this scene for a little while now. Still screw face, still don't ever smile now. Booking money, good day.
That was one of my favourite videos, was the link up. Talk to us about that moment.
No, guys, they spent budget.
Do you know what? I wanted to say that, yeah. At that time, that looked like one of the cleanest videos.
Budget.
It was clean.
You know what? You know what it was?
It was you, like, Kelly LaRock. Who else was on that record?
We had everyone, Lethal Bizzle, we had Bashi,
I just remember the video was clean.
We had so many people. We had a version that Kano was on, but Kano got signed, so he could no longer be on the record. It was a big record. For me, it was just like, anything I do, I want to do it big, you know. I've always looked to the Americans at that time, you know, Americans had big videos and stuff like that. Lethal B, I think, came out with Power, and it was just amazing, and he smashed, and I was like, no, I need to come with something hard. And I remember us just scraping and scrimping to get that video. We got Mo Ali to do it. He was like the biggest director of the time. Big up Mo, he's made some iconic videos, and we shot that video over like 4 days, you know, across the UK, like across, we went, I think Watford, we went everywhere to do that video. And it came out, and it was like a big video. It done well for us, you know. I remember Westwood ringing us. We went up on Westwood. I remember it was a big moment for us. It was a really, really big moment for us. It kind of changed our life, because obviously Channel U was so important at that time, and when you put a video on there, you felt like a star, and everybody knew you.
It's interesting, because I feel like artists were making videos to go on. They weren't even necessarily thinking about any other music channel. You were making your video for Channel U.
That was the plan. Like, you made a music video to go Channel U, or you made a song. You went to studio. Them times there, you went studio thinking about your video.
That's mad.
Like, you'd make a song.
Yeah.
Like, we have to make this beat like this, because the video has
when
to
the
be...
video drops.
Yeah. So you kind of just... You didn't really care about it being playing in clubs or anything.
Nah, you know,
you just wanted the video.
Yeah. So Femi, I mean, obviously known for your acting as well.
Yeah.
What would you say you're better at? Acting?
I think I'm an all-rounder.
Yeah.
I think I'm an all-rounder, because the reason I say that is that I got all A's at everything in school. I got A stars.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even... but then I was still with the rude boys getting in trouble at the same time. Like, and so it was a bit of a weird... Like, I'm sure teachers did not like me, because it was...
So you think you're equally as good as being a rude boy, producer, director?
Yeah, all of that.
No, man.
What, blood?
Did I told them no onions?
Yeah, you did, man. You did say no onions, man.
Hey, did I say no onions? Food.
Because your characters that you've played have been so distinctive in the past.
Yeah.
Like, is it hard to get other acting roles and be taken seriously as a producer-director?
I think maybe, but I don't really think about that because actually what I decided to do at a point in my life was that I decided that I was going to take control of my career and what I did next, and anything else that anyone else gave me was going to be a bonus. And so from that moment, that was the moment, and that for me, that's the grime attitude. That's grime. Like, this is the thing, for me, like, you know, people think about grime as just the dress sense, they think about it as the way people talk, but for me, it's a mentality as well. Like, when you see Skepta and those guys, they could have signed multi-million-pound record deals several times over during their career, but a lot of them have resisted it because, like, the original dons, grime dons, they're like, no, I don't want to do that because I just want to control it and I want to liberate myself. And I think that's so grime. And so the approach that we take and the approach that meeting someone like Nicky is like, you know what, we decide what we're doing next. We decide, Against All Odds started with a conversation. The intent started with a conversation. And it's got, like, you know, that's why we're here. And so for me, I think after, like, it was Adam Deacon's film, Another Hood, and after I did that, I was like, you know what? I just want to take control of my career now. I don't want anyone to tell me what to do next. And if I do get opportunities to act in stuff, then I'll do it. But every day when I wake up, I decide what I'm doing. Because actors don't have that.
And it's kind of crazy to be sitting in your house waiting for the phone to ring.
I did that. I did that.
Like, that's
so,
like,
no,
for
bro,
me, that's unheard of. Like,
bro, I did that. So I came out of university when I did law at uni, came out. So I did kidulthood before I went into uni. It came out when I was in uni. Did adulthood when I was finishing uni. Came out like a few weeks after I graduated from uni. And like I was waiting I had memorized my agent's number. I'm not gonna do it here, but I can see it in my head right now. I memorized the number because I was always praying that that number would be the number that called me anytime my phone rang during the day. And when it wasn't, it was upsetting. And I just felt like, for me, I was spiraling into a place where I was completely dependent on these people to decide what I was gonna do like next. And that's just a bit mad. As a man, like, a man shouldn't live like that. Like, some people are better at it than me, and like they've got the wherewithal to like get up every day and like do that hustle, but I wasn't built for that. I realized that I'm too proactive. I like to keep things moving too much. I like,
stagnant.
Yeah, I just want to always, I'm too restless for that type of, like, you know, that type of lifestyle.
Okay. I want to ask you how you two, because I want to know how you two met. But before I get into that, though, I also want to know, how easy is it to get, like, one thing that you're known for is getting, like, you know, rappers from their worlds into, like, key roles into your films and stuff. Like, how easy is it that to get the industry into your films?
It's us. There's no, like, other corporation. It's like people taking a risk on us. So I tell you I'm going to make a film, you're looking at me like, raw, that's my man from Holloway. Like, how's he going to make a film? Do you get what I'm saying? I get that he's in films, but how's he going to make a film? And so it's us, and there's no one behind us. So, like, it's harder for people to believe, but once you do it once, then it's easier.
Dancers feel it good than another. If you fight that, me picking out a feather. Don't bad mind my brother when him a go up the ladder. Money man up, he go get the cheddar. If you not like that, hold them there, hold them there, hold them there. Hold them there, fully bad, so hold them there. Hold them there, 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 hold them there.
Hey, the boy when him Boba, them dip on him boat. Them nasty.
I remember being in the office one day, and I was like, why don't we get Gets to be in the film? And everyone was like, nah. I was like, no, we have to, like, I can see it. Like, let's get Gets to be in the film. And everyone just was not buying it. And so I called Gets myself, yeah? And I say, Gets, listen, I want you to go to West End and audition for my casting director. I won't be there because you don't believe me that this can work. Go, audition, and then if you're good, you'll get through. They won't put you through if you're not good, right? So Gets goes to audition, and then he sends us one of the best tapes. Then he has to come in, audition for us, and then he does one of the best tapes again. Like, and these are with real actors, like, that I come up with. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh, we just gave it, we just dashed it to him. And so for me, it's like, it's a mixture. If we're gonna give you a leading role, one, we're not going to put you in a position to do a role that we don't think you're going to deliver on, but two, you're going to have to audition or do a tape or something like that. It's just not automatic.
Sculpture, we knew we wanted him though. From when I saw Ransom, remember the video, Bashi, Wretch, Sculpture, I watched that, I was like, wow, this is sick.
Skirting around smoking ching chang chong. And that's the loud pack if you didn't know.
I put mom through some rainy days, but I'ma make her proud, I promise. I know my fans that show me love.
And then from then, it's like, I knew that Sculpture had to be in the intent. So it's like, it was built for him, like, it was based around him, like, the charisma he had on screen, I knew I wanted to work with him, so speaking to him on the phone was like, I was like, yeah, let's do this. But remember, they don't know, like, we're not film guys, we're not Nicky and Femi who we are now, like, we haven't had any success as making films, so I big them guys up, you know, like, the Sculptures.
Because they're visionaries.
They're visionaries, like, Jammers always supported us. Frisco came in It's a Lot early, you know what I'm trying to say? So a lot of them, like, supported us when we was nothing, even with the Fekis and the Krypton Conans. When they jumped in these movies, we wasn't the Nicky and Femis who we are today and had success, so I have to big them up for that.
I'm intrigued to know how you two met. Like, what was it like, checking down in the club?
No. Do you know what it is? I was working at, you remember Jetstar? Do you remember Jetstar? Do you remember Jetstar? Jetstar in Halsden, Jetstar Records. Yeah, I was working there as an A&R, and a mutual friend brought Femi in.
Justin,
Justin, and we linked from then, you know, like, I was like, wow, you're Femi from Kid at Hood. He's like, no, you're Nicky Slimting, I listened to you on the radio. Okay. And then as soon as I saw him, I already had ideas to make films. So I started pitching him, I got this film and I got that film. And then from there, the journey just started, you know, we linked up and we've been a business partners since, and it works, you know.
The pitch must have been good, though, because you get, we've walked down the road with you enough times, and you get that every day.
Do you know what, should I be honest? I was kind of starstruck to meet Nicky, because, like I'm a proper grime kid. You saw me before, like, spitting J2K lyrics. I got all these guys' lyrics in my head, because that's what I would go home and literally tape these, man, every single day after school. I've got buckets of tapes, cassette tapes, for the kids that don't know what I'm talking about, in my mum's house, of these man spitting on radio. So, like, when I met him, I was a little bit like, raw, you're Nicky Slimting. So, in a way, he was kind of, like, ahead of everyone, because as a kid, I was idolizing this guy. I wanted to be on Deja. Do you know what I mean? That was, like, one of my dreams. Before, like, I was in films, I wanted to make music. I wanted to spit bars. Like, even before I loved acting the way I did. So for me, it was like, you know, meeting him, it was kind of like a natural connection because of our love, because his contribution to grime and my love of grime.
We're about to see the film in a second, but before we do, there's also a banging soundtrack that goes with the film. Like, how easy was it to put together? I mean, you already make music. Was this like...
No, it wasn't easy, you know, because I hadn't been in that world for quite a minute, and things have changed, and once again, big up Motown, because they believed in us, and we said we wanted to make a soundtrack, and for me, I was like, what would a soundtrack sound like today that has elements from the old school, and is still kind of current today, and for me, I was just thinking of tracks that we grew up on, like Maxwell D. Serious, that was kind of transferred over into the grime world, but came from the garage, and we reached out to Maxwell and was like, yeah, we want to remix it, and he's like, yeah, go with it, and you know, and we done that record, and we put some of the new generation on it, Novelist, Capo Lee, we mixed
banging
it with,
video as well.
Yeah, Bruiser, thank you, and it was a good process. It was fun for me and Femi. We was actually in the studio. Me and Femi was in every studio session. We got the producers, we got all the artists together. We actually A&R'd the records. We spoke about it. It was like, no, put this person on. Like, there was other verses we wanted to get hold of people, but you know, it's so difficult. Everybody's busy and stuff. But we came out with some great records. We got an amazing DEE song.
But the video
is crazy. We got to watch out for that. Watch it. You've seen it today. And the serious video, as you could see, like we drawed on iconic moments in grime, the Dizzy cover, the Wiley, the So Solid. Just so many great moments, you know. And it was just a great experience. It was great to be working with a team who believed in us and believed in what we wanted to do and get the budgets to do those videos, because those videos are not cheap, you know, and for us to go to them and say, listen, we want to make this big, expensive video, and they're like, yeah, man, let's do it.
I just feel like they showed respect to the project.
Yeah,
more
we know Motown's got the bag. Yeah.
No, they don't. but they showed respect to the project and they treated it based on how it should be treated culturally, as opposed to like, it wasn't a trend. It wasn't like a bandwagon thing. It wasn't like trying to do what's already out there. We came with them with something that's not out there, and what's not necessarily, it's not about what's popping, it's about what's culturally relevant and culturally important, and they handled it with care, and they've supported us every step of the way. Should we watch the film now?
Should we do it?
Should we do it?
You know what, you guys introduce it, man.
Yo, this is Against All Odds, the first ever grime movie, first ever scripted film made about grime ever. We hope you love the film as much as we do.